Hey everybody, my name is Peter Stewart. About a year ago I made a video on how to make an Eddie Van Halen Frankenstrat guitar, and for whatever reason that video went on to get 600,000 views. It's become my most popular video I've ever made. So I decided to kind of capitalize on the trend here and build a second Frankenstrat, this time taking into account some of the comments I received on the first video regarding some little details that I might have missed or overlooked in the build. And I also noticed a very popular trend in the comments on my last video. The trend was that I went on way too tight of a budget, that it's an insult to the Frankenstrat to try to build it for less than $500 at that time. So I decided just to kind of get back at these people that seem to care a little too much about what other people do with their time. I decided to build a Frankenstrat on an even tighter budget than the first one. This guitar right here I actually made for less than $200, and that is after spray paint, parts, everything. It didn't take long to build, and it actually is a really great instrument. So stick around, I'll show you how it's done. So yeah, I mean, this thing really does go for $186. I don't know what I was really expecting, but I almost feel confident saying that I like this Frankenstrat far better than the other one that I did on a $500 budget. You know, I think there's a lot to be said for, you know, the quality of the tuner heads and the whammy bar, but it's not crazy horrible, right? It's actually not that bad. I mean, I think the real key components of a well-playing guitar has got to be the sound and the action, as well as the general playability. You got to make sure your scale length is right and your intonation is right. But, you know, I kind of lucked out on all those things. I didn't have to screw around with the truss rod too much. I didn't have any real problems with fret buzz. I got a really nice neck that I actually paid for really cheap, but it was actually a really nice, well-put-together neck. And, yeah, everything works really great. I mean, the Frankenstrat's a super simple guitar, at least, you know, the early versions of it, before the Floyd got put on and all this crazy stuff happened. But, I mean, it's really just a Les Paul pickup and a Strat body. You know, that's all we're looking at. As for the pickup, you know, I had the EVH, whatever the hell he calls it now, the 5150 pickup, or I don't even know, Frankenstrat pickup. And that thing runs about $200 new, and I gotta tell you, it sounds good. But this is like a $10 pickup or a $5 pickup, and it's actually kind of comparable, at least through my cheap modeling amp, you know. I mean, maybe I'm not that in tune with tone, but I'll just kind of make it work, you know. I mean, all my guitars, I'm not that picky about stuff. I'll just kind of figure out how this thing's going to sound good, figure out how it's going to sound good through the gear I got, and just make it work, which is sort of what I think the spirit of the Frankenstrat is. You know, I mean, Eddie did this on a budget back in his day, so, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of guitar snobs out there that are going to bust on me about this and say, how dare you try to build a cheap Frankenstrat and all this stuff, but, you know, you guys are obviously on the wrong video. You know, you can go to some other crazy replica build. You know, you don't have to be here. Yeah, so I've waited long enough to film this outro for this video, just so I can really play this thing and make sure nothing's squirrely, nothing's falling apart. And I gotta tell you, this is getting to be one of my favorite guitars. I've got an American Strat, I've got a Mexican Strat, I've got my old Frankenstrat, I got a couple like Super Strats that I screw around with, a couple Telecasters, and this thing is actually one of my most played guitars lately. It's super fast playing, you know, that action is like, I couldn't ask for it to be any lower at this point. And yeah, I put some super slinkies on there, maybe like really slinkies, I don't know, something real light, and it really does play pretty quick. So if you're looking for a video on how to build an exact replica of a Frankenstrat, this obviously isn't it. And if you're looking for a video on how to do a Frankenstrat justice, this probably isn't it either. But this is a video on how to sort of achieve what Eddie was going after in his day, right? How to make a guitar on a budget, how to work with what you got, and how to get a pretty basic understanding of how the electric guitar works, how to chase different tones that you want to achieve in your playing. And you know, when you build your own guitar, you always have the freedom to go back and change stuff and work on it to get it just how you want it, which I think is really what we should be looking at in the Frankenstrat build. Not so much the fact that, oh, you didn't get that scratch right there exactly right. You know, you can't get too hung up in that stuff. You're going to make yourself crazy. You know, if I wanted that, I'll pay $25,000 to, you know, Fender Custom Shop to build a Frankenstrat. But if you're willing to overlook that stuff, I mean, this just goes to show what you can do with a couple $100 in a little bit of time. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you go to my channel, you can check out my previous video on how I built the last Frankenstrat. And you know, I have another guitar video there too on how I put together a Telecaster kit. So it might be some stuff of interest to you. So once again, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for maybe more guitar builds.